Untamed is going to be untamed. It's going to be a little crazy. I want to talk to my people. I want to talk to my brothers and sisters. We can have grace and humility in how we interact with other people.
Oh, hot dog, look at you.
And nobody talked about what's really happening.
And let's have conversations about what truth is.
Just don't want cheating in our elections. And you see it happening in California. Those numbers are coming down rapidly. They found a lot of mail-in ballots last night, shockingly. So we don't want that.
We're now awaiting for a chopper from Van Nuys to land here with those ballots. And once they do arrive here, they are thrown into these...
Obviously, we're having issues, unfortunately, with Andres Gutierrez's microphone there, but that is the processing center.
I need to go shop over there.
Oh, it's so full.
They're falling out.
Yeah.
Oh, but good. It's a good thing. There's a line there that may already be full, but there is another drop box at 1301 West Olive Avenue, and it's like 5 minutes away.
Okay.
And there shouldn't be a line, and it should be able to...
The Jocelyn Center.
The Jocelyn Center. 1301 West Olive Avenue.
Can you put it in the mail now, or is it too late?
Oh, it's too late.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have a system that is designed on fraud. It's designed to enslave people. We can see it and we debate the ridiculous. And every time we turn around, there's more and more ridiculous that we have to put up with. Mail-in ballots that they find overnight. Machines that are able to just have ballots that are scanned and put in. They're supposed to have some sort of ability to tie them back to a voter. But that doesn't matter. Not in California, not in Colorado, not in Nevada, Texas, Michigan, Minnesota, Virginia, where a CIA analyst was elected over a black organizer that's been involved in helping people for decades. Because we're racist, right? Or a black Republican thrown out for a CIA analyst. And because people have an appetite for Democrats. You know, they target young people because they're impressionable. I mean, the people that are older and are these radical leftists, they're just retarded. Actually, they're just evil. They want to break down the system because they were never going to be successful in their lives. Success is something that's been running away from them. They'd like to blame it on systemic something or other. And it's typically liberal women. And I would say white, but they're not because they don't think they're white. There's an entire organization. The LGMPQ is run by this one group out of this one country. And I'm not even allowed to talk about it. I just got off the phone with a prominent guy. He's been in broadcast for 30 years, well-known, can't go anywhere. I thought that I had trouble going to airports and places without people walking up and saying, "What's up, Joe? How you doing?" This guy is well-known, all over, well-known. He's been involved in broadcast radio journalism for decades. And he called me and he said, "Joe, they're afraid of you because you speak the truth. You do so without care of what the consequence will be." We've been talking about stolen elections for 6 years. They've been talking about stolen elections for at least a decade and a half before that. The same people have been a part of stealing our elections and putting us into this place over and over and over again. It led to the selection of Joe Biden. We see that they've lied to us on J6. They lied to us about COVID. They killed millions of Americans. Do you guys even realize that? They murdered millions of Americans with an operation that said that COVID was more dangerous than Ebola or the bubonic plague. And when you had doctors that went to testify in Congress and said, here is our information, here's the research, it has an 100% effective rate. I'm talking about Dr. Corey, and I'm talking about ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine. 100%. The big tech companies went out and they censored a congressional hearing that talked about the effectiveness of ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine. In 2020, I'm no longer going to say, well, you know, maybe this happened. I had to break into a hospital and administer ivermectin in liquid form into a bag for a person that was on, they tried so hard to put him onto a ventilator. So hard. And the hospitals and everyone around them said, no one gets access to ivermectin or hydroxychloroquine. Even today, a pill that was worth 20 cents is now, it's become this big deal. It's $2 a pill. They found a way to turn it into a way to take money out of the hands of people in America and around the world because it was manufactured. And so they're like, okay, now if they're going to get access to a cure, we need to make sure they pay for it. But in the middle of that, they had to build ivermectin and ivermectin for Pfizer. And they had to force people to put vaccines in their bodies. And then you fast forward through 2020, you had George Floyd, a criminal, a career criminal, a thug, a guy that had never amounted to anything in his life other than being a criminal sitting on the side of the road with 4 times the lethal limit of fentanyl in his body. Would have killed a horse. And then you had congressmen that went up when the police officers were on trial and say, if you don't convict him, ooh, we're going to do stuff to you. Completely break a system that doesn't exist. And then we saw what happened on November 3rd. We saw with our own eyes. Nobody knew what it was. And of course, there's that Eric Coomer. Don't worry about it. Trump's not going to win. I made sure, but everything's a lie except for what they lie about. And we had mountains of evidence of fraud. Mountains. Kind of like the mountains of evidence we have up in Minnesota of billions of dollars that get funneled to Somalia while judges pass out probation for people stealing millions of dollars of taxpayer money, because it's not a crime to steal from the people if the people are slaves. We saw the bar for lawlessness go further and further down. And now, like a millstone on the chest of Americans, we got to tolerate all of it. And the victims are far too many. Millions of illegals came across the border, decided, hey, listen, this is a good idea. Let them flood the borders. Now, we've been having these problems for 20 years prior to that. The word illegal is illegal for a reason. But when you place it above the rule of law and then tell us, oh, you got to have a heart, you're telling us that the lawlessness applies to everyone except for the slaves that fund it. Today, we have a victim that's going to be on with us today. We have a victim of an illegal that's in our country. And we talked about this before. But that's not the only victim we have. You got Austin Metcalf that is down in Texas that plunged a knife into the heart of a young man and killed him. They promptly ran out and raised $250,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, got out on a $250,000 bail. And you don't have to like certain people to recognize that our system is designed to pick winners and losers, and that the media is the beat stick by which they can do whatever they want to, whoever they want. They can build a narrative out of nowhere, and it doesn't matter if it's right, because what are you going to do, sue them? Well, that takes money. That takes time. And you have a judiciary that's rotted to the core, filled with henchmen that do the biddings of the media. And anyone that steps out of line, they're the ones that get punished. See, we don't live in a free country anymore. You'd be hard-pressed to say that we've lived in a free country for the last couple decades, where judges can act with impunity and make it impossible for justice to be in reach for anyone that they deem unworthy. They were able to attack Tina Peters. See, the big thing right now is that it's justified homicide, it's justified assault. And they say, oh, it's because 250 years ago there was slavery in this country. I got to tell you something right now. There's slavery in our country right now. And it's called the American people. The haves and the have-nots moving illegals and people from other countries above the line to act with impunity, to steal at will and to get away with it. To be well-funded so that they can live a good life while stepping on those and spitting on those that spent their entire generations fighting to defend our country. They came in and blew up buildings in the World Trade Center. And now, because of stolen elections, the same demons that were able to do horrible things to Americans over the last 4 or 5 decades are now allowed to thrive while they piss on the grave of those people that fought for this country. That's the reality. And I'm going to ask you a question after you see this. This is there's a school that's pushing this thing called equity, right? Creating basically racism. They're building a race war right now, and they're doing so on purpose. And they're allowing this to happen. I'm going to ask you a simple question. What if this was your daughter, what would you do? I can tell you what I would do. I can tell you what I would do. I don't care what sex you are. You're going to declare yourself an invalid if you did this to my daughter. And yet we do nothing. No rage. Nothing happens. Act like it's okay. Steal something from this young girl. Act with impunity, and there was no consequence. Play it.
Say it. Just say it, Bella. Say it. Bella. Say fuck chill. Bella, you gotta say it. You gotta say it. You gotta say chill. Say fuck chill. Say fuck chill. Say fuck chill. Fuck chill. Say fuck chill. Say fuck chill. Say it, bitch. Hold this from Bella, you gotta say it. Say it again. Say it louder. Say it more clear. Say it louder. Say it on top, nigga. Say fuck chill. Say fuck chill. Say fuck chill. Say that shit. Say that shit. Say it. Bro, say it. Say it so the camera can hear it. Stop. She said it. She said it. No, make sure the camera can hear it. Say it. She said it. Yo, big ass. Say it. I fucking said it. It's your turn. Yeah, it's your turn. Camera ain't here. You don't even need to see it. Some big boots in your ass. Stop! I already said it.
And let me just tell you that this thing that we're facing in our country right now, you know, the one that they have all this outrage for, where I say that people that commit treason should be tried for their crimes and hung. And you want to say, oh, Joe called for violence. This is why they're afraid of me. Because I believe in +1. And see, most of you have never faced this. Most of you have never had to deal with the consequences of truly horrific crimes committed against our people, Americans. But it's not just an American problem. They can just use dog whistles any way they want. You saw Talib do it and say, oh, it's all racism, using dog whistles. Well, screw these people. I'm not going to debate with the ridiculous, and neither should you. I've had enough. I got a phone call this morning from a lawyer, and she's like, Joe, everything's going to work out. And I was like, I don't believe you. I don't believe you it's going to work out. Nobody's been arrested. Oh, I'm sorry. John Bolton got arrested. There you go. $2 million fine. Let's let him out. And people say, have faith. Just wait. Be patient. Patience is the tool that is used to enable hope while you watch them make victims of the people in our community. White, black, green, yellow, purple, doesn't matter. And the more I speak up, the more they decide who is the winner and who is the loser. They get to take whatever they want, act with impunity. But it's not just an American problem. Here's an 18-year-old that was killed by a Sikh claiming he was a victim of racism. I got to tell you something. White, black, Hispanic, Asian, it makes no difference to me what color you are. Like Martin Luther King, I wait for the world to finally get to a place where a man or a woman will be judged by the content of their character and not by the color of their skin. We were well on our way there. And then we had radical leftists from countries overseas that have done horrible things. And today, by the way, after we hear from our guests, you're going to hear a little bit about what's happened in some of these countries. Let's go ahead and play this.
We just got attacked racially by some white person.
Right, okay. Whereabouts are you?
We're on Belmont Road.
Just out in the street, are you?
Sorry?
You just in the street?
Yeah, literally. I just parked up my car to come home and he's attacked my brother.
Are you talking about verbally or physically?
No, he physically attacked my brother. We're Sikhs, we wear turban and he's just attacked my brother.
Have any weapons been involved?
No. No. He's verbally attacked my brother racially. He's attacked my brother and took his turban off. Then he's recorded it on his phone thinking he was going to do something. So I need someone here ASAP, please.
But what he said was not true. There was a weapon involved. And he stabbed the man to death. And it was found, by the way, that everything that he said was a lie. See, the one thing about England is that there's a camera on every corner. There's a camera. There's probably a camera in the Chex mix box. There's probably cameras on your yogurt container. I jest a little bit. But they have created a dog whistle that allows people to get away with committing crimes. Serial killers, basically. And they can do so and take over communities for Americans. In this case, it was in England. But they created this fake boogeyman. And I'm not saying that there aren't racists. Coming from an interracial family, I can tell you there are racists everywhere. And it is typically the very people that say that they're there to solve racism, right? They're on your side. Like the Democrat that's running for office that has a swastika, a Nazi symbol on his body. Or Eric Coomer that is a Satanist skinhead who runs elections and say that he's Antifa. He's a good guy. That is the good guy now that is able to victimize our community, or millions of illegals coming across the border and doing terrible, terrible things to Americans. And we have this case brewing in Texas with Carmelo Anthony. People have been gathering all week about this specific case. And you have people that think it's okay to get on the street and say things about white people. Keep in mind, you want to see a guy that doesn't see color? I don't see color. I don't care if you're gay, straight, or a purple dinosaur with webbed feet, could care less. And I've lived my life that way for 20 years, serving that community. The community of everyone who maybe is disadvantaged. My entire life. And while these guys are willing to suppress education, take away opportunity, they've called me every dog whistle in the world. Racist, homophobe, bigot. I mean, now it's anti-Semite. Actually, I'm not. And we're going to talk about Sean Strickland too, the UFC, the only UFC American fighter that was banned from the White House because he dared to criticize Bibi Netanyahu. See, truth is this one thing, man. It's just it's crazy. You can't stand with the Jewish people and stand against the leadership. No, because you're a slave. How dare you say something, slave? Here's what was happening, by the way, this week at Carmelo Anthony's trial. Go ahead and play it.
Only good cracker is a dead cracker. 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 Only good cracker is a dead cracker.
You know, stolen elections have consequences, and we talk about this over and over again. I saw this story, and we played it on here, about a mother whose 22-year-old daughter life changed in a moment because of an illegal in the country. I want to show you just how bad our leadership is. The leadership is so bad that it makes the very people getting paid the victims, and they orchestrate it, and then they advertise it, and then they hurt people, and then they watch it happen. There's an ICE facility in Newark, New Jersey, and they announced that they're actually pulling police out of the area in front of ICE tonight on a warm Friday night. There was already clashes last night. I say that ICE just kicked all of their teeth in, every single one of them. See, the difference between me and other people is, hey, I'm very articulate. I can talk about all these things. But I believe that you should not be a victim, that we should have a warrior mentality, that we should put on the full armor of God. And that does mean, by the way, that frankly, that there are consequences to people that come out and try to hurt people, that stand up for those that have done real harm to our American brothers and sisters. We're going to hear about one of those stories, but here's the ICE facility in Newark. Paid agitators, people that get to do harm to people in our community, that spit on those that have sacrificed so much. All in their 250th year of this country being around, they are trying to destroy it. And they picked our 250th year too. They knew what they were doing. But why would they announce ahead of time that they're going to be pulling the police out? They want to maximize chaos. They want to create a scene for the mainstream media. And they want to talk to as many retarded, stupid people as they possibly can that think that being here in this country illegally is a right. You have no right. Get out. All of you, get out. Now we're going to talk about Patti Fox, who is Angel's mom and her advocate. I can promise you that Patti did not have any desire to get involved in this fight. Most people are just trying to figure out how they can take care of their family. They're barely surviving. 44 cents on every dollar. You go and you make you get paid. You go get paid, and they take out 30% of your pay right off the top. And the second thing they do after 30% of your pay is they go ahead and they tax you on your house and on everything else you have. Patti just wanted her 22-year-old daughter to have a future. She wanted her 22-year-old daughter to have opportunity. She wanted to be able to have grandkids and just really be able to celebrate The fact that she raised a beautiful young girl that had her entire life ahead of her. I'm sorry, I said this wrong. Patti is the one whose life was turned upside down. I'm so angry about this. I'm gonna let her tell the story, but Carissa is her daughter. She has permanent life-altering disabilities, and the driver received a $500 bond, was finally released or sent out of the country, but with no consequences. Already changed the life of this young lady. So with that said, Patti, welcome to the show.
Hi, Joe. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it shows like this that actually crush me. So I'm sorry that we have such terrible leadership that they can't get to the place where this never happened to begin with.
No, it shouldn't have happened. And that's one of the most common arguments that I get back is, well, it could have been an American that hit her. Facts is that it wasn't. It wasn't somebody that had the right to be here. It wasn't somebody that was a citizen. She entered the country during the Biden administration in 2023, came to Colorado specifically because of our sanctuary policies. And she was working at a restaurant 900 feet from our house. She was just a year younger than Carissa, too, young woman. Carissa had just turned 22 on March 15th of 2025. She had big plans that night on March 28th to go to Black Hawk with her friends and celebrate her birthday. But before then, she wanted to do something that she enjoyed, which was riding on the back of her friend's motorcycle in full, protective gear and everything, just a moment of joy, to feel the wind on her skin and just something that she enjoyed very much. And she was heading northbound on Parker Road, just past the 225 exchange. And in an instant, the driver ran the stop sign, crossed across traffic without looking, and collided with a bike, launching Carissa headfirst into that concrete barrier there. And in that second, our whole life changed. She had just texted me, 2 hours before the accident and the text was, "Now that I am embracing all that life has to offer, I couldn't be happier." And 2 hours later, it was over. After the driver hit her, they got out of the car, looked at her, and the driver, they were both unconscious, and fled the scene. Just left, didn't check on her, didn't call 911, didn't, just left her there. Some witnesses came upon the scene pretty much as they were fleeing, and they were the ones that called 911. And, when it comes to brain injuries, those seconds matter. It could have made the difference between her recovery and not, her walking and not, her talking and not. That phone call is every parent's worst nightmare. It's the one that you just pray never happens to you. When the hospital called and said she's here. Get here. We knew then. I had to drive. My husband drove us from Fort Collins to Aurora, and just the whole way I was just pleading with God. Just please save my baby girl. That was the only thing I could do, is just pray over and over and over again. We had to wait 5 days. She was going to be, they said the next 5 days were critical. She had to have emergency surgery. They removed a large portion of her skull because her brain was swelling and pressing down on her brain stem, which controls all of your primitive, basic things, being able to breathe. So I got to see her for about 30 seconds before they wheeled her off to surgery. I couldn't recognize my baby's face. She was, bruised and swollen and road rash, and it was pretty brutal. When we spoke to the victim's advocate, we knew that she'd been hit and that the driver had fled on foot. And a few hours later, they let us know that they had her in custody. And then, and that's really all we knew at that point in time. We didn't know if Krista was going to make it. So I didn't have really the bandwidth to worry about it too much in that moment. And then we found out on Monday that she was released on a $500 bond without talking to the DA, without talking to the victim's advocate. They deemed her not a flight risk, even though she fled.
And this is Arapahoe County, right? This is Arapahoe County, Colorado?
Aurora Police Department and Arapahoe County, yes. And so, a few days later, I talked to the detective, and he said that there was a communication, barrier in, talking to her. And at that point, I asked point blank, I said, is she here legally? Is she an illegal alien? And he kind of paused for a second and sounded kind of surprised that I asked that. And he said, well, she's a citizen. They're all citizens. And I said, oh, okay, and at that point in time, we just
they're not citizens.
None of them. Yeah.
Yeah. This is where I get to the sickness of stepping over Americans and letting them victimize Americans to the benefit of someone that doesn't belong here.
Correct. We didn't find out until September. Carissa spent 6.5 months in medical facilities. She is still minimally conscious, which means she's not likely to do simple things like squeeze your hand or blink, or she'll do those things very inconsistently. She has very little.
She's trapped in her body, basically.
Yeah, very little volitional control. Doesn't talk. Doesn't eat or drink anything by mouth. She's fed through her G-tube, and she spends her time in the wheelchair. It wasn't until September that we found out that the driver's immigration status was in question. And ICE had entered the conversation, and we had been told from the beginning that the driver would get 6 continuances, that was pretty standard. Once ICE entered the conversation, she was granted an additional continuance because they wanted to see, she needed to understand how accepting the plea that was offered by the DA would affect her immigration status. So she got to be free for Thanksgiving. She got to be free for Christmas. Meanwhile, Chris didn't even know it was Christmas. I spoke with the victim's advocate in November, and she verbally confirmed that she was not a citizen and that she was here illegally. And that was really all I could be told. And it wasn't until I reached out to Libs of TikTok, and they did some investigative journalism on their part and reached out to their contacts, and it was confirmed that she was an illegal alien from Venezuela.
Patti, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
How do you've lived in Colorado how long?
Since 1989.
Your daughter was born in Colorado?
I wasn't, but yeah.
Your daughter was born in Colorado, or no?
My daughter was born in Florida. My ex-husband was military, so we did kind of, leave and come back and leave and come back. So,
your daughter you went to school here. She went to school. Did she go to high school here?
She graduated in Castle Rock from Daniel C. Oaks.
Okay.
And she was going.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
She was going to school for esthetician, and she had big dreams.
And you said she sent you a text message just before all of this stuff happened, saying, "Hey, look, I finally feel like my life is on the right track," which is that's the thing that any parent wants to hear. Does she have siblings? Do you have other children?
Yeah, I have a total of 4 kids, 2 boys, 2 girls. Chris is my third.
And how are they adapting to all this?
I think it hit my youngest the hardest. She was 17 when it happened. Chrissa was her
person.
Her idol. She looked up to her sister. She taught her how to dress, and and she had all this funky style to her, and taught her skincare, and she grew up listening to her big sister's music, and so she loved K-pop just like Chrissa loved K-pop.
Nobody really likes K-pop.
Yeah. And so going from Chrissa taking care of her in a big sister role, suddenly Chrissa was dependent, and she had a really hard time working through that. And Chrissa's older brother, they both moved down here. They were both living in Loveland, and they both moved down here to be close to her. And the thing, he wrote in his victim's impact statement that, would have been read in court had she, been there for her sentencing, is that it never got easier. It never got easier to see Chrissa. It never got easier to hold her hand and to talk to her and be there with her. And I believe that that's true today. It's still hard.
So Carissa now lives with you, and you
yes,
care for her.
She was actually living with my parents prior to the collision, and I was living in Fort Collins with my husband. We had just gotten married August 1st of 2024, and afterwards I moved down here, and now both Chris and I live with my parents because she needs full-time, 24/7 care, and her medical team is down here. So with additional family for extra hands and her medical team being down here, it made more sense for me to come down. So I haven't lived with my husband since March 28th, 2025.
Changed your life. It's kind of an understatement of the century.
Yeah.
She got a plea deal. The woman that hit your daughter got a plea deal.
Yes.
And what was that plea deal?
She was initially charged with 5 charges, 2 felonies, 3 misdemeanors. She was given a plea deal of class 5 felony of conspiracy to flee the scene of an accident with severe bodily injury. It carried a maximum of 3 years imprisonment. That would have been the max. Arapahoe County, my guess is she would never have seen the inside of a cell.
So she got a plea deal. She pled guilty to it.
Yeah.
And what happened next?
A part of that plea deal is she had to pay $15,000. She was ordered to pay $15,000 to replace the motorcycle. Carissa was not even mentioned in any of the plea or the agreements or whatever. They didn't even know. The DA never called to see what kind of condition she was in. The victim's advocate never called. I had to call them and let them know. I had to take Carissa to court so that they could look at her and see the damage that was done. She did take the plea back in January. At that point in time, I had learned about VOICE, which is Victims of Immigration Crime Engagement, something that President Trump had set up. And I took matters into my own hands and reported her. I had the police report, which had her address, and they did. They went in, Denver ERO went in sometime late January, early February, and deported her with not much pomp and circumstance. We never heard about it. She was just gone, and then confirmed February 28th that she was back in Venezuela.
So it's bittersweet that she was removed, right, from the country, but she never saw the inside of a jail cell.
Mm-hmm.
She was released on a $500 bond. So your daughter's life, for the rest of her life, was relegated to $500, and you get to go back to the country that you never should have left to begin with.
Correct. She won't have to pay a dime. She didn't have insurance, so she didn't have to pay a dime. What money that we did get from insurance, Chris's medical bills are 7 figures and climbing. So, it's not anything that we saw, and not that there could have been any kind of justice. My daughter survived, but she didn't recover. I don't get to hear her laugh. I don't get to hear her say, "Mom, I love you."
Nobody gets to talk about these stories, right? It's relegated to a social media post or a story, and then it has its luster for an hour, 2 hours, 2 days, 5 days. And when all of that goes away and people settle back into their lives of this was unjust, you find yourself still alone with the idea that your daughter doesn't get to have the future she should have had. Her choice in having that future. So tell me how you feel about, do you feel betrayed by our nation? Do you feel betrayed by our leadership? Do you feel betrayed? And I look, I knew you talked about God and praying to God, and I I love that for you and for your daughter. But I just want to know, I mean, how would you tell them if you were talking to President Trump right now, or you were talking to the leadership at the DA's office? What do you think they should have done differently, or what do you think they should be doing now?
As far as President Trump goes, I feel like he is doing as much as he possibly can, given the climate of things, and even both sides, are making it harder for him, which is crazy to me. The DA, I just would have appreciated some care. I would have appreciated consideration for what Chris's life is going to be like moving forward. I hear so much about, it just makes me sick, seeing these social media posts from our politicians, our liberal politicians from Colorado, and they're, constantly talking about immigration rights and, immigrant rights and that kind of thing. First of all, there's a distinction between an immigrant and an illegal alien. My mom was a legal immigrant. I'm first generation. An illegal alien is someone who shouldn't be here.
Where's your mom from?
Thailand.
She came here illegally, and it probably took her a decade to get citizenship, if I had to guess.
This was a really long time ago, so. But she went through the process, legally. I keep hearing about their rights and everything like that, and I just get so infuriated, because it's like, what about Chris's rights? She has the right to life, to liberty, to the pursuit of happiness. Where's her pursuit of happiness? Where's her liberty? She's a prisoner in her own mind. And I just get so infuriated, and I'll post and I'll send them a picture and I'll say her name, and they won't even acknowledge.
It's a step over Americans. I always like to say that there's a line of law. They say no one is above the law. That's true. Carissa is not above the law. You are not above the law. They are above the law. By the definition of the word illegal, they are operating above the law. Because if you're here illegally, if you're here breaking a law in order to be in this country, then you are, in fact, above the law. Would you agree?
Yeah.
And now our legal system is giving this person a free pass who took away the life that Carissa should have had. Yeah. And is still free in now her native country.
Correct.
And by definition, she's only one stolen election away from being able to walk right across the border again and victimize someone else.
Absolutely. And part of the services that Voice offers is letting us know if she were to ever return. Well, the next, administration, illegitimate or not, can just wipe that all away.
So I will always say that I'm not a better person, but if you were talking to her, so I won't tell you what my brain goes through when I think of your daughter. And it's not my daughter, but I have a daughter who is 29 years old. I have a son that is 26 today. Happy birthday, Matt. I don't know why emotionally it hits me watching injustice be done to other people, but it does in a big way. But let's hypothetically say she came across it came across the border again and settled back into Colorado, and you found out that she's 30 minutes from you. How would that make you feel? It's a very unfair question. I probably shouldn't have asked it. But sometimes you being able to get stuff out of your brain in a hypothetical helps with a little bit of the healing.
I believe that God was kind in sparing her, in sparing Carissa. I believe that in sparing her and leaving her in a condition where she needs 24/7 care, prevented me from making other decisions. We'll say it that way.
I don't ever want to hurt anyone, but I can see the pain, right? I will say this: I am sorry, because I know they won't be, and I don't think that they know how to be. But what are the chances, Chris, that comes out of this? Is there any chance? Is there a program? Is there a? I know that before you came on, I've been researching cryo and all sorts of other things that treatments that are available.
So her official diagnosis is disorder of consciousness. It depends, you know, some doctors, they will say nothing. Her doctor was phenomenal and world-renowned. And he just says, we don't know, because she's already beat the odds. Only 98% of people with her injury don't make it.
Yeah.
So she's already beat the odds.
And she's breathing on her own, correct? I mean, she is breathing on her own.
She's breathing on her own.
Which is not likely to happen in her condition.
Correct. So, you know, he will say, we don't know where she'll wind up. Other doctors have said that it won't get much better.
We don't like those doctors. With God,
No.
anything is possible. I will tell you, with God, anything.
Yes.
Nothing is impossible. He's way bigger than us.
If he can raise Lazarus.
Yeah.
If he can send his son to redeem this wicked heart of mine, anything is possible.
Yeah. Amen to that. So I did look into treatments, and I did pick up the phone and call one of my friends, and I was like, "Hey, listen, can you have a conversation with Carissa's mom about this?" So he might reach out to you, just because this is what he does. He works with Walter Reed, so he deals with traumatic brain injuries, specifically to blast rate. Some of the same symptoms that she has. There are many soldiers that have gone through that same treatment. So I figured I'd reach out to him and say what it is. So he'll be reaching out to you as well.
I appreciate that.
What do you have to say to politicians in Colorado who have politicized and put ahead the rights of those people who are not Americans over those that are American?
Oh, they're jokes. Like, they don't even, I had testified at the Judiciary Committee, in front of the Judiciary Committee in D.C., and I had, Congressman Hank Johnson basically go off on this complete tirade and, talk about the
He's a
suffering.
retard, by the way. He's a complete retard.
Well, talking about the suffering of brown and black children and this and that, and it's like, well, my daughter's brown. Why don't you care about her? It's all the selective outrage is ridiculous. And at the end of the day, frankly, they don't even care about illegal immigrants.
No, they're pawns. They're pawns.
They're just being used in this whole thing, and because you don't hear about those victims, and they're out there. You can't tell me they're not, but you never hear about them. So they don't really even care. They don't even care about them. This is all just money and power, ways to hide behind, oh, you're taking away money from education. Oh, but while we slide money from this fund over here and, play this, game of guess which cup the bean is under, kind of thing. Learning about now navigating the whole Medicaid system and I want all the fraud exposed, because every single dollar that's going to fraud, every single dollar that's going to illegal aliens, every single dollar that's going to where it's not supposed to go is a dollar that isn't going to Carissa or other people or other families like
now,
ours.
You do know that there is a thing out there, and I helped my friend do this, that they will literally pay you to be a caregiver of Carissa, whatever it costs to go to a facility. They'll actually pay your family that, correct? You know that, right?
Yeah, we're in that process right now, and it is a long process.
It is.
So.
Yeah. It takes 6 months to a year to get done, but once it's done, the ink's dry, they can't go back on it. And it provides the care. And it also gives you the comfort of not having to run out and work, 50, 60 hours to take care of the needs that she has in your home. So it's a good program.
It is. I am grateful for it. We're out of pocket $3,000 to $4,000 a month for just basic needs for Carissa.
Do you have a Give Send Go set up or something that we can promote here for you?
We do have a GoFundMe. It's.
Do you guys have it? Do you guys have the link? Okay, thank you.
I have a hard time sharing it. It's pride, I guess.
Yeah, well, we're going to share it, and I'm going to pass it out to some of the other guys. Did you give it to the Libs of TikTok guys and all them as well, or no? Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, all right. So we're going to share it with you. We're going to share it, and if you're up to it and you want, I don't know. I think people need to. I have the picture of your daughter. I didn't put it up out of respect to you, but you're welcome to come back on the show to tell us what breakthroughs we have with Carissa, and we'll do everything we can to help you on this side. My friend's name is Aaron. He works at Walter Reed. This is what he does, so he'll reach out to you as well. I've known him for 30 years. Back when we used to get in trouble all the time, the before Jesus part. But I do appreciate you coming on. Do you guys have it? You guys have the GoFundMe? Can you put it up now? Do you have the link, Damon? There we go. Wait, we've only raised $17,000. Put the comments up on the thing for me, please. And do we have the link address? Can you put the link address and everything, please? All right, it's www.gofundme.com/f/support-for-the-current-unknowns. Ooh, that's a big one. This is it, right? This is right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. All right. So go there and donate, all of you, every single one of you, on every platform. Go drop money in this deal. This should be well over 150,000, everyone, period. And the story needs to be told, and it's a year and a half old. So go and give. And Patti, we'll make a donation as well. So we'll make sure we get that done today.
Thank you.
I'll give you the closing deal. Is there a place where we can follow Carissa's journey?
Yeah, I share things on X at Angel Mom Patti with an I, and then
I follow you now.
Yeah, so I try to keep everybody posted and of what's going on, and yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on. I know this is not easy to go through this, and I just appreciate your voice, and we'll make sure we keep in touch. I'll be following Carissa's journey and making sure that whatever help we can give you.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I'll look forward to talking to the doctor from Walter Reed.
All right.
It would be amazing.
All right. God bless you. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
I'm going to take a break. We'll be back.
Oh, hi. I almost didn't see you there. Welcome to DCF Buns, where you can find the freshest buns in town, if I do say so myself. Our master bakers teach class every week, so whether you're new to baking or trying to improve your culinary skills, we got you covered. And we can help you bake the cake of your dreams. We'll even clean your cake if you want. And if you don't want to bake anything yourself, we have loads of fresh buns available in a variety of shapes and sizes. Check us out at dcfbuns.com to learn more. DCF Buns, we keep the buns hot and the deals hotter. Buns.
In every thread, in every stitch, Honor-Bound USA weaves the fabric of the American spirit. It's not just apparel, it's a testament to God, family, and country. At Honor-Bound USA, we're a family of patriots who put our faith, family, and America first. When you visit our website, you'll find a line of products that embody our commitment to pray, stand, speak, and act. As the official site for the Untamed podcast, all of our products proclaim speaking the truth with courage. We also have the powerful documentary from Professor David Clements, Let My People Go. Identify yourself as one of the few who are willing to stand for what they believe in. Join the Honor-Bound USA family today. Wear it as a badge of honor, commitment to the values that shape us, and a pledge to the bright future we will build together. Because when you're honor-bound, you're not just wearing a brand, you're embodying a lifestyle.
Hochul signs this bill sitting on her desk. A new law will make it illegal to call them mother and father. Nate Foy has the details on this. Nate?
Hey, Jackie. So, yeah, New York Democrats argue the words mother and father are outdated and need to be replaced with more inclusive terms under state law. All that's needed now is Governor Kathy Hochul's signature. So if Hochul approves, in New York's family court and in domestic and education law, a mother would be labeled as a gestating parent, a father as a non-gestating parent, and paternity proceedings to determine the child's father would be called parentage proceedings. The bill passed the state Senate this week and the state assembly back in March. Governor Hochul proudly calls herself New York's first mom governor. It's unclear if she'll support this change, though.
I'm not familiar with what was introduced late last night, so I'll take a look at it. I have until the end of the year to review them and make a decision, so I won't be commenting on pending legislation.
New York would join other states like Massachusetts, California, Connecticut, and Colorado to change the definition and wording of parents in their state laws. Democrats argue the bill is necessary to accommodate surrogacy cases and same-sex couples. Now, Governor Hochul's up for re-election this year. Her main challenger, Republican Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman, tells Fox this morning this bill is a continuation of war declared on families by Democrats. Jackie?
Nate, thank you.
Mother and father go out the door, more inclusive. It's outdated. It's been around for 5,000 years, but mother and father are no longer viable because they have a new idea. Well, they don't have a new idea. It's the devil itself. It's dancing on the backs and necks and chests of just every person that's out there. And just to be clear, we're not talking about a great number of people in the country or around the world that are doing this. We're talking about the demons and devils that have been selected, not elected, been put in those positions. And you know that it's a pandemic that goes across the world because it's happening in every other country, not just this one. They want us to negotiate the ridiculous. They want us to go through this. And here's what I will tell you. It's time for a revolution. It's time to throw these traitors and idiots out on their faces. See, we keep sitting there and we keep tolerating and thinking there's nothing you can do about it. And this, by the way, is the reason why they want to just silence me at every front. They're like, oh, I can't have Joe talking about a revolution. We're in a lawless society where Carissa can be thrown out and discarded by a person that should never be in this country. And then somebody who is actually a DA stood up and said, what difference does it make? They're all citizens. They're all our people. No, they're not our people. They're not our people. They don't belong here, and they don't have any right to victimize the people of our country. But as they do that, they steal the First Amendment, the Second Amendment. They put people in positions of trust and authority, and they smile and they nod. And because they smile and nod, everyone's like, oh, yeah, let's continue to let them terrorize the people in our country. And that's exactly what they do. I want to show you an event that is happening inside of the New York City City Hall. This is an event inside the City Hall. Inside. They want to normalize this sickness that we have. And it's not just normalizing the sickness, it's the fact that the people on the street are beaten and said, you're a bigot, you're a homophobe, if you don't let us dance and groom and steal the voice and steal the soul of your children. And we sit back and we let it happen because we're afraid. We're afraid of the beatings that we might take. We're afraid of the slander, the defamation, the scarlet letters. And, you know, my wife said it to me this morning. She goes, I don't even know how you tolerate just the amount of attacks that you're under. And I say, well, it's because I know that that's not who I am. But it wears on people. It creates the ink dry to the people that say they're on our side. Republicans use it as a beating stick, and they justify it by saying, look, it's over here. The New York Times said it, it must be true. All while saying and recognizing that our media is rotted to the core with evil, evil people. I want you to see this. This is an event inside the City Hall. Not a parody, not a satire. This is a pride ball. Play it. I just want everybody to understand that veterans go out there and they sacrifice their lives. People that serve in our military go to other foreign nations, and I will have to agree that over the last 50 years, the CIA has created more wars and killed more people than ever died in World War II. And much like what we're talking about there, the same can be said of the fact that we went into Iran because they were going to have a nuclear weapon and they would have done horrible things to our allies, namely Israel. But then Israel used it as a free pass. And they went into Lebanon, they blew up churches and killed women and children and have acted with absolute impunity. And you could say, oh, you're a Palestinian apologist. I saw one of those from a little retard on X yesterday. Anons, people that 100% won't put their real name out there. See, I put my real name out there. There's enough information that if you feel froggy, go ahead and leap. And I tell people, if you come for me, make sure that you make peace with God, because I'm certainly going to be the one to make it for you. I'm willing to stand up for what I believe in, but more importantly, I'm willing to stand up for what the truth is. And here's the truth. Much like Americans are stepped over, like Carissa that was stepped over, our military personnel that go over there and serve honorably for defending and protecting the people in our nation and abroad, they are spit on and stepped over, and by people that get an entire month on their sexuality. But nobody cares about their sexuality. Nobody cares if you sleep with a bullfrog, right? Or pleasure yourself with some blow-up animal. We don't care. But you want 30 days and you want to stuff it down the throat of normal people as if we care what you do in your bedroom. We don't. But that perversion is not designed to be public for any other reason than to groom and to recruit people for your sickness. And we're not really even talking about gay people, because the OG gay people, they're just OG gay people. They're like, I'm just gay. And they walk around, they don't wear the sexuality. I mean, you talk Scott Bessent. He's the Treasury director. Just a normal guy. He's gay. He's just a normal guy. Smart, super smart. My business partner, normal guy, super gay. But he's normal. He's just a great guy. Rich Guggenheim, fired from the Colorado State government has to sue him now. Gay. And also loves the Lord. Everybody's like, oh, you can't love the Lord and be gay. Yes, you can. Absolutely can. Everybody's got their cross to bear. And most people need to just shut up because, listen, if you went to the top 5 websites in the country, they're all porn sites, which means there's got a lot of people going to those sites. It's not just one person. So it's that whole idea of putting the scarlet letter on somebody else. It's not a cross I would want to bear. Neither is actually watching porn. Not a cross I'd want to bear. You could bear it. We can find ways that we could basically eviscerate each other. At the end of the day, you don't deserve a month. You don't deserve to have a perversion that you put on a public display, that you're trying to teach children that this is a normalized behavior, that this is what society should look like. It was never what society would look like. And here, by the way, is a proclamation in Arlington County, Virginia. It's a Pride Month proclamation. Play it.
Both me and my staff have personally had to help trans queer youth in this county who are facing bullying and discrimination in Arlington Public Schools. Last week, my son at Campbell got the sex ed talk in health class and was told children only can come from men and women. No queer representation, no IVF representation. He came home crying. Last year, I had to help a trans adolescent transfer out of Yorktown due to discrimination that the school was choosing not to face.
Because it's not real, you stupid fool. You're such a retard. This is what happens when you let retards actually stand up on a podium. We give a voice to the ridiculous as if it's some sort of truth. And like a sidewalk made of concrete that was just put in, it looks like it's been there for years. It hasn't. You're a bunch of retards. There are only 2 genders, period. Not 3, not 5, not 10. As they put it before, there was a woman that said there, she was asked a question, she goes, how many genders are there? And she had she was old school emo. She says 3. And the guy's like, okay, what are the 3? She said male, female, and mentally ill. It fits. It fits. And you want us to apologize and make it as if we care if you're mentally ill. We don't. We don't care. Bring back asylums. But stop lying and talking about the fact that you can be a Cheshire cat, because you can't. And let's not forget just everything that is going on right now. Men and women's sports. Men can somehow have a baby. Bathrooms and locker rooms are used by perverts everywhere. Girls lose out on championship. The fervor of fight is fight harder so you can beat the boy who's tucking and running his penis. True story. And how about the attacks on religion and faith and God that is happening? They're mocking it right in front of us. And you're told to shut up, sit down, don't say anything, be nice. Oh, you might hurt someone's feelings. Well, you hurt my feelings when you talk like a retard and say stuff that's just not true. And try to convince children that these perversions somehow have some value to our society. They don't at all. Play it.
So when you think about the Erica Kirks, the Life Church, the Joel Osteen of it all, and their desire to accumulate wealth while hoodwinking their flock into thinking they're super moral, this is a cancer. White evangelical Christianity is a cancer. These are the worst of our country. These are the worst people in our country because they use their religion in 2 ways, as a weapon and as a shield. They weaponize it whenever they want to and say, we're on the moral high ground. You're a lesbian. You deserve to die. You're a lesbian. The cops shouldn't have revived you. Oh, your parents are Mexicans and they brought you over here. Yeah, you should go to jail and eat worm food. And then when you call them out on it, oh my God, they're after the Christians. How dare they? How dare they? We're so oppressed. White Christians are so oppressed in this country. And they want it both ways because in the religion, that duplicity is taught. You can be morally duplicitous. You thrive in cognitive dissonance. And so this is just a massive, massive problem And it should come as no surprise to anyone that of this cult that I'm talking about, white evangelicals, I think over 80% went and voted triple trumped.
Yeah, they did. So did 29% of black people. Yeah, they did too. Oh, and Hispanics and Asians. A vast majority of Asians voted for President Trump. A vast majority of Hispanics that are legally here voted for Trump. You know what camp those two are from? I'll give you two guesses, and the first two don't count. By the way, they don't consider themselves white, if that's any indication about what I'm saying. These are the demons that hide behind good people, that want to say that we're a cancer, that Christians are a cancer. There you go. I got your cancer right here. You want a revolution? You want to fight? You're the top of the list. And yet they've held our country hostage. Hostage. And they want to say that Christians are bad. Well, what do they belong to? The weirdo club? Yeah, they do. And you're not allowed to talk about it. You're absolutely not allowed to talk about it. So let's talk about this. You ready? Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland is a UFC champion. He came out and talked about how it's bad to murder people. And that Bibi Netanyahu, who frankly, President Trump, also had nothing good to say about. He's like, oh yeah, he's our friend. And these people in leadership over there are semi-retarded. And they need to stop bombing the hell out of people in Lebanon and genociding an entire country. It went from, hey, we're going to go after Iran to now we're going to go after Iran and hey, why don't we just go into Lebanon and just bomb the hell out of Coptic Christians? The Talmud says you're allowed to do it. So let's just do that, shall we? Let's do that. And as I get up here and speak about it, I'm already getting blocked on X. I can't even imagine what's happening on Rumble. Because every day, it's a new day. They get to take away everything, and they're trying to figure out a way, like, how do I get people not to go to his website? We can't control that. How do we do that? I got a little thing back from Roku saying, so you have to, mark it if you're going to talk about things that are controversial. I was like, okay, I'll just talk and say I'm controversial. Charlie says Olstein is using God to enrich himself. He's not a Christian. Olstein is a motivational speaker at best. Yeah, I would agree with that. But those two demons that were just on here, well, what do you call them? Because if you were to go and check their accomplishments in their life, it would be, I wreaked havoc and I talked about bullshit, and that makes me an expert. That's what you'd get from the, whatever you want to call that, those two little trash heaps that were on here. Jennifer Welsh. Oh, such a good person. Yeah. Makes me want to throw up my mouth. Sean Strickland criticized Bibi Netanyahu. Completely criticized him. It was straight up. You're diabolical. He called him diabolical. The White House banned him from the White House. And I know President Trump in the back of his mind is like, man, this toeing the line stuff with this it's got to stop. You would say, Joe, are you an absolutist for President Trump? I would tell you, I have been. Yes, I am. Do I agree with this? No. But this has more to do with the fact that we don't care about what's right or wrong anymore. And that this should show you that we live in a lawless society. And the only remedy for a lawless society is a revolution. And what does that mean, by the way, revolution? Interest rates should be down by 2 points. The Fed should come in and cut it by 2 points. That's what they should do tomorrow. They should make it so that Americans can eat. They should revamp the judiciary. They should get rid of the mail-in ballots and the machines. They should have our feckless leaders in our country do the right thing and represent the interest of our communities, not their only fat faces when they get out there and try to steal from the American people and insider trade and do all the things that frankly should be forbidden if you're devoted to a life of public service. But it's not public service, it's public consumption. Service to self. So Sean Strickland got out there and said, yeah, I've been banned from the White House. We're going to have this UFC event. You know who will be there? Bibby. You know who won't? Sean Strickland. One of the most ridiculously awesome UFC fighters. Now, do I agree with everything he says? No. But he's not an anti-Jew. He's not an anti-Semite. They pass out these dog whistles as if they're scarlet letters that they can push people into corners because they're nothing but schoolyard bullies. But if they were to stand in front of you and want to take a bite out of it, they couldn't because they're cowards. They're little midget people that frankly do real harm to the community and create this distrust that is going to lead to major bouts of problems. It makes victims of people who are good people because the evil ones hide behind them. I talk about it. It's Revelations 2:9, Revelations 3:9. Can't say it because I do have a couple hundred people that are watching us on X right now. Don't want to get rid of those people. I've gotten to the point now where I just don't care. I was talking to a lawyer this morning. He's like, well, we got to do this. And I was like, I don't care. I don't care. You're not, this entire process with Eric Coomer, Dominion voting systems, it's a lie. The whole thing's a lie. It's gotten almost to the point of ridiculous. I've been building this list of things that they did wrong to basically put their fingers on the scales of justice. And in any other country, in any other place, those judges and those people would face a criminal indictment. And maybe it does happen. Maybe I'm just too far behind. But I will say this, President Trump, you need to probably invite Sean Strickland. You don't have to sit in the room with someone and say that you agree with each other, and Bibby can be there too. It's not like he's going to walk over and punch Bibby in the face. He's just going to say you're a piece of shit. You've done really bad things to a lot of people. You're diabolical. You know, I can't tell if it's Bibby, who really doesn't care what you say, or the CIA that has the biggest problem with it. But we're run by evil people. Either way, we're run by evil people. All right, so we got some cool things that are be going on. Just as a, housekeeping. Obviously, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and more. We're also on Roku. And we got a couple others. Pill.net, we're on that platform as well. And we've just got a lot of, we've got some people that I brought in. We had Patrick, it was here yesterday with James McAndrew. I heard that show was fire. Guys, I'm going to start making with more purpose, having things like having Patti on, telling the story of Carissa. It's very difficult. Like that, the whole story of what happened to Carissa is not an uncommon story. It happens quite often. But we're gonna have some more of those. We got a couple more of those guests over the next couple of weeks. But yeah, I want to go through like a bunch of stuff that is found. I probably should talk a little bit about the election stuff out of California. Just so you know, I don't know how in the world we're even in a place where we're even debating it. The percentages, if we just talk about the percentages of the mayoral race and the governor's race, it's impossible to get to the numbers they got to. It's impossible. It's not improbable. It's impossible. Impossible. Like impossible. Fully impossible. Not partially impossible. Fully 1,000% impossible. There's 33,000 votes that separate Bass from Platt, and 33,000 votes that separates him from exactly. They found mail-in ballots. They got all this stuff done. And here's the thing, is they're saying, well, it's a state election. There's nothing you can do about it. So they're stealing it in front of you and then basically walking away from it, not saying anything, and then saying, President Trump, you're wrong. Like, we can see the fraud. We can see it. As clear as our eyes are on it, we can see it. We know it's the machines. We know it's the mail-in ballots. We know it's fraudulent. And yet we let retards run things, which is why I say we're on the road to the revolution. We're going to have a revolution. Count on it. Count on it. And probably sooner than later. Why? Because how do you run away from something that you can't control? And right now, we have the millstones that are on our chest, and the American people are tired of it. We should never have to pay property tax. We should never have to pay to be on roads. We shouldn't have cameras that are set up to tell us that we went 5 over and police us as if they have their thumb right on our throats at all times. That shouldn't happen. businesses fleeing one state to go to another in a country that should be equal opportunity and equal law, application of the law under the law in all 50 states. You shouldn't be able to take away somebody's rights. What's legal in one state should be legal in all states. You shouldn't be able to adversely affect or take away a constitutional or God-given right either. All right. I wanted to share some more stuff about this stuff. Let me see if I can find it real quick. In 2020 election, 64,000 mail-in ballots were Xeroxed in the back of a conference room in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 2020 election by Claire Woodall Vogue, which were all for Joe Biden. Oh, it gets better. There's more. We start talking about the South Dakota Canvassing Board, No Ink Total Vote. You know what No Ink is, right? Do you know who's responsible for No Ink? Oh, that's right, Liberty Vote. Same guys. Election result percentages displayed temporarily. Check this out. You ready for this? This literally just happened. Because every one of our election systems in the entire country are fraudulent. It's all fraud. All of it. There's no this election's good, this election's bad. They're all fraudulent. Every one of them. No Ink Total Vote. Mock election. Right? Ready? Mock election result percentages displayed temporarily on the SOS website magically mirror Tuesday's South Dakota primary election result percentages exactly. On Friday, May 29, 2026, the mock election results were displayed live via the No Ink Total Vote election results page. After the Secretary of State was notified, they were quickly taken down. Candidates and citizens obtained screenshots prior to takedown. Okay. Is it random chance that mock election result percentages, the ENR results perfectly? 16 conservative legislators were unseated. The Freedom Caucus public-facing members taken out, but the Trump-like outsiders gained the most votes for governor? Establishment rhinos now firmly back in control of Pierre. Also, the zero-vote ENR phenomenon identified in California primary is found in South Dakota as well. The zero votes do not match election night upload procedures performed by the county. How did this happen? What is different in ENR from prior years to 2026? South Dakota vendors are No Ink and ES&S. Do you know who No Ink is tied to? Liberty Vote. No Liberty Vote is? It's Dominion Voting System. You see what we're dealing with here? Mock elections matches the actual elections. And it resulted in people losing seats. And you're still sitting back letting these faggots tell you that there's nothing wrong with the election. Oh my gosh, you're making fun of gay people. No, I'm not. I appropriated that word. I'm stealing it. Like retards. Same thing. We're going to bring it back. And we're going to use it to talk about disgusting, vile people who are traitors to our country that are allowing this to happen and gaslight the shit out of you and say there's nothing you can do about it. They're daring you. They're daring all of us. I added this to my list of top 20 things. And I keep thinking to myself, how is it we haven't signed the Insurrection Act, Mr. President? Mr. President, how is it that we're allowing this to continue to happen state by state, Mr. President? How is it that these systems haven't been shut down and we haven't come in to save the American people with mass arrests of people that work for Dominion, ES&S, Smartmatic, Clear Ballot, all of them, strip them away? Why is it, Mr. President, we sit on the sidelines and we allow people to get victimized like Carissa? Because that happened in 2025, not 2024. And how is it that we're still sitting here having these conversations about election fraud while judges continue to victimize Americans, spit on the graves of those people that came before us, and fly pride flags for 30 days while telling veterans they relegated you to one day. And by the way, the VA is not here to help you. It's here to piss on you and try to fix it. We don't care. We're taking most of that money and giving it to people who are illegal anyway. That's how I see things. And frankly, it's not hard to see it that way. All right. We're going to pray it out. We're going to pray for Patti. We're going to pray for her daughter, Carissa. We're going to pray for President Trump to do whatever President Trump's going to do, and for our leaders to stop betraying us. And we're going to pray for revolution. We're going to pray for a revolution that takes us back to a place where we can hold people accountable. A revolution. And people will say, oh, that's a call to violence. It is absolutely not. If you go back in history, revolutions start with the idea of giving people options. How do we give people options? It's really simple. Stop being evil. And at that point, then we just take all their stuff, we throw it out on the front step, and we say, no, we will no longer, we've learned the value of the word no. Black, white, green, yellow, purple, Democrats and Republicans represent themselves. We need to be the party of the people. We need to build our fraternity, and I believe it's already there. The density is already there. It's already there. So let's get back to our roots. Life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. Declaration of Independence, which says that anytime that the country gets to a place where it is absolutely tyrannical, you have an obligation, not a right, to throw them out. And that's where we are. We're already there. Yeah. Charlie says, my heart breaks for Patti and her daughter. It does not have to be this way. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. All right. Father God, thank you for the opportunity to be here today with you. Thank you for Patti's message and the hope that gets generated. Thank you for just the grace that God has given all of us in our lives, and for the many blessings that we take for granted each day as we kind of focus in on what is truly wrong and stripping us of our ability to have peace and prosperity. Father, we ask you to bless President Trump and the leaders inside of the country at every level, that they may do right by the people and may right this ship and restore you to our community, to our country, to our every way of life. Father, we ask you for the dignity and for the wisdom to be able to stand up and do what is necessary without losing our cool, and really affect and bring other people to the table so that we can finally get to a place where we can settle in on common sense, settle in on what's good for our country, for our community, for our families. Father, help us that we may stand tall despite any adversity we may face, and that we can focus in such a way that magnificent things can be done to restore us to a place where we don't have to negotiate with or have conversations with the ridiculous. Father, forgive me for some of the words I may have said. It is maddening. This is not a victimless crime. And yet here we are trying to figure out how to get around it. So Father, we ask these things humbly in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. I do want to say that Randy Robinson, you guys didn't know this, his dad, James Robinson, passed away last month, and he was over 30 years. He had an organization called Stream and a ministry called Life down in Texas, done some amazing things, and so we pray that his family has peace. With that said, I would tell you all, get in the gap, do the things that are necessary. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for joining us today. Make sure you share it and go drop a little bit of money on Patti's GoFundMe. All right, God bless you.
Rise up untamed in the heart of the fire where the wild ones roam. Joe Oltmann's calling, bringing truth back home. From conservative daily to this untamed fire, we shatter the silence, lifting spirits higher. No chains can hold us, no lies can prevail. Authentic and fearless on this rugged trail. Patriots gather under stars and stripes. Untamed nation, igniting the night. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Untamed nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave belong. Yeah, untamed and wild, forever strong. Play it again all night long. Break the mold, chase the real, no more games, time to heal. Joe's voice leads the untamed crew. Truth matters through and through. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Tame nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave belong.